The scream came out of nowhere. My neighbor Karen's shrill voice cut through the calm Saturday morning like broken glass, and before I even turned my head, I knew it was going to be trouble. "Get that filthy beast off my lawn," she screeched, and when I spun around, I saw her standing on her perfectly trimmed front yard with a spray bottle in her hand. But she wasn't spraying her flowers. She was spraying my service dog. My dog, Rocky, yelped in pain, his golden fur now damp with some kind of chemical. I sprinted forward, panic rising in my chest. Rocky wasn't just a pet, he was my lifeline. A trained service dog. He could sense when my PTSD episodes hit, grounding me back to reality. Without him, I wasn't just vulnerable, I was broken. "Karen, what the hell are you doing?" I roared, shoving her hand away before she could spray again. She smirked, her pearls glistening in the sun like she was some queen in a mansion drama. "That mud doesn't belong here. HOA rules say no animals in front yards. You think just because you're special, you can break the rules." My blood boiled. He's a service dog. Federal law protects him. You just committed a crime spraying him with chemicals. But Karen wasn't listening. She puffed up her chest, as if the HOA crown weighed heavily on her shoulders, and hissed, "Rules are rules. If you don't like it, maybe this neighborhood isn't for you." By now, a couple of other neighbors peeked out from behind curtains. One man even stepped onto his porch. Nobody intervened. That's the thing with Karen. People feared her. She was the self-appointed queen of our HOA, strutting around in designer clothes, barking orders, and sending violation letters for the tiniest things. A flower pot in the wrong color, a trash bin left out too long, even a kid's chalk art on the sidewalk, all infractions in her world. But this, spraying my service dog? That was a whole different level. Rocky whined, rubbing his face on the grass, and my stomach dropped. I knelt to check his eyes, terrified the spray might have been toxic. "Is this bleach?" I yelled, sniffing the damp fur. It smelled sharp, chemical, definitely not water. Karen crossed her arms smugly. "Just a little cleaning solution. Harmless. Maybe it'll teach him not to come near my roses." That's when I pulled out my phone and started dialing. "Who are you calling?" she snapped, suddenly less confident. "The cops," I shot back, locking eyes with her. "Because what you just did isn't just cruel. It's a federal crime. Service dogs are protected under the ADA, and you just assaulted mine." Karen's face drained of color, but she quickly tried to recover. "Uff, the police won't take your side. I run the HOA. I know the rules better than anyone." That was her first mistake, because the cops didn't care about HOA rules. They cared about the law, and Karen was about to learn that lesson the hard way. While waiting for the police, Karen didn't back down. In fact, she doubled down like a true HOA tyrant. "You really think the cops will care?" she scoffed, pacing back and forth like a lawyer preparing for trial. "Do you even know how many complaints I've had to file because of you? Your grass was too long last summer. Your recycling bin lid was open last month. And now this dog is running around like it owns the street." I clench my fists, try to keep my cool. "Rocky has more rights than you do in this situation, Karen. You just hurt a working animal. That's abuse." Rocky whimpered again, and I rubbed his ears, trying to calm him. Every second felt like an eternity, my mind racing with what chemicals he might have inhaled. Karen suddenly shouted toward the watching neighbors. "See, this is what happens when we let just anybody move in. They think rules don't apply to them." Her words stung, but not because they were true. They stung because I could see the fear in some neighbors' faces. Karen had bullied them into silence for years, and they didn't dare cross her. That silence ended the moment red and blue lights lit up the street. A squad car pulled up, and out stepped Officer Daniels, a no-nonsense cop who looked like he'd seen enough HOA drama for a lifetime. "What seems to be the problem?" he asked, hand resting on his belt as he scanned the scene. Before I could speak, Karen charged forward, putting on her sweetest fake smile. "Oh, officer, thank goodness you're here. This man's dog was destroying my property, and when I tried to stop him, he got aggressive with me." I almost laughed out loud at the audacity. "That's not what happened, and you know it. She sprayed my service dog with chemicals." Officer Daniels frowned, his gaze flicking between Rocky, who was still shaking, and the spray bottle in Karen's hand. "Ma'am, is that true?" Karen's mask slipped for a second. "It's just cleaning solution. Harmless. I was protecting my roses. HOA rules are very clear about—" "Ma'am." Daniels cut her off firmly. "I don't enforce HOA rules. I enforce state and federal law. And harming a service dog is a serious offense." For the first time, Karen looked rattled. But it was just a dog. Look at it. Perfectly fine. That was her second mistake, because Daniels knelt beside Rocky, gently inspecting him. "His eyes are red. His fur is damp. We'll need animal control to verify what's in that spray. But if it's toxic, you could be looking at animal cruelty charges." Karen's smugness evaporated. She glanced nervously at the growing crowd of neighbors. Whispers were spreading. For once, people weren't hiding behind curtains. They were recording. "Turn those cameras off." Karen shrieked, waving her hands. "You can't record me without permission." But she was wrong again. In public, anyone could record, and everyone knew it. My chest tightened with relief as Daniels turned to me. "Sir, does this dog belong to you?" "He's my service dog," I said firmly, "and I want to press charges." The crowd gasped. Karen's jaw dropped, and for the first time in a long time, I saw fear in her eyes. The situation turned serious fast. Another patrol car arrived, this time with a K-9 unit. When the officer stepped out and saw Rocky, his expression hardened. "That's a service animal," the K-9 officer said immediately. "What happened here?" I explained everything again, and Karen kept trying to interrupt, her voice growing shriller by the second. "He's lying. He made it up. I was just cleaning." But Daniels silenced her with a raised hand. "Ma'am, you need to calm down. You're only making this worse." Animal control arrived minutes later, testing the spray bottle. The results made my stomach churn. It contained diluted bleach. Not harmless. Dangerous. The animal control officer shook his head. "This dog is lucky. If more had gotten in his eyes or mouth, it could have been fatal." The crowd gasped again, and this time I didn't hold back. "You hear that, Karen? You could have blinded or killed him. My service dog, the one who literally saves my life." Karen's face twisted. "Oh, please. You're just being dramatic. It's not like you need the dog. You walk just fine." That was the final straw. Daniel stepped forward, his tone ice cold. "Ma'am, you just admitted to targeting a service animal. Under federal law, that's a crime punishable by fines and even jail time. You're under arrest." The street erupted with shocked gasps. Phones shot higher into the air. Neighbors who'd once stayed silent were now openly cheering. Karen, however, completely lost it. "What? You can't arrest me. I'm the president of the HOA. I own this neighborhood." Daniels didn't even flinch. He snapped handcuffs onto her wrists as she kicked and screamed. "Ma'am, the HOA doesn't put you above the law. You're going downtown." And with that, the self-proclaimed queen of the neighborhood was escorted into the back of a squad car, still yelling about how she'd have everyone evicted once she was free. But nobody was listening anymore. By the next morning, news vans lined the street. Someone had uploaded the footage of Karen being arrested, and it went viral overnight. The headline was brutal. HOA president arrested for spraying service dog with bleach. For years, Karen had ruled our neighborhood with an iron fist. But now she was a punchline. The video showed her screaming, "I own this neighborhood," right before being shoved into the police car. Social media had a field day. Neighbors who'd once feared her suddenly found their voices. A group of us met outside my house, rallying together for the first time. "We need her gone," one man said. "She's been a tyrant for years." A petition circulated to remove Karen from the HOA board, and within 48 hours, it had more than enough signatures. For the first time, the community felt united, and it was all because Karen had finally gone too far. Meanwhile, Rocky recovered. The vet confirmed no permanent damage, though I had to keep treating his eyes for a week. Every time I looked at him, my chest tightened with both gratitude and rage. Gratitude that he was okay. Rage that Karen had ever touched him. The HOA board called an emergency meeting. Normally, Karen would have run it, But this time, she wasn't even allowed near the neighborhood. With her facing charges, the board voted unanimously to strip her of her position. Her empire had crumbled overnight. Weeks later, life in the neighborhood was different, peaceful. Without Karen patrolling the streets, people started relaxing. Kids played outside again. Neighbors waved more. And for the first time, our community felt like a real community. Karen, meanwhile, was facing multiple charges: animal cruelty, harassment, and even reckless endangerment. She was ordered to stay away from me and Rocky, and the courts slapped her with thousands in fines. But the real punishment wasn't the money. It was the humiliation. The woman who once strutted around like she owned the world was now infamous. Her arrest video forever living online as a reminder that power doesn't put you above the law. One evening, I sat on my porch with Rocky resting at my feet. The sunset painted the sky orange and pink, and for the first time in a long time, I felt at peace. I scratched Rocky's head and whispered, "We did it, buddy. She's gone." And he wagged his tail, happy and safe. The truth is, HOA Karens think they can control everyone. But when they cross the line, when they hurt the innocent, or in this case, a service dog, the law has a way of reminding them they're not invincible. So if you're dealing with a Karen in your life, remember this. Bullies only have as much power as we give them. Stand your ground, know your rights, and don't be afraid to fight back. Because sometimes, justice doesn't just come quietly. Sometimes it comes with flashing lights, handcuffs, and the entire neighborhood watching. And that was the day HOA Karen learned the hard way. You don't mess with a service dog, and you definitely don't mess with the law.